We're going to start the meeting. Welcome, everyone. Mary, roll call.
Mayor Brunner,
Here.
Vice Mayor Rich.
Here.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
Commissioner McDonald.
Here.
Thank you. And our invocation, James Brokius of the Stewart Alliance Church. We welcome you again, sir. Everyone stand.
Father, thank you again for your love for us. Thank you for these ladies and gentlemen that serve us and are willing to do that. Lord, I pray that you would give them your patience and your understanding and direction as they discuss these various matters and discernment that's going to bring good to our city, to our county. So again, Lord, I just pray for physical encouragement and strength for each of them, that they may know your peace this day by day. Thank you again for this beautiful area you allow us to live in. Help us to care for it. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. So we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Stay standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jody, I believe we have a presentation, Development Department project update. Thank you, ma'am.
To the board, I just wanted to, before she gets started, I've asked the development director to start providing a monthly update as it relates to projects that are pending in the city and what we've done in the past, because I've heard lots of different numbers, and I heard that we approved 5,000 apartments this year. And in light of the fact that it's been 0 for 2 years and that there was only one single-family home approved last year or permit pulled last year, I think it's important that we disseminate accurate information. And this way, Jody's going to be updating us at these, and it won't be this meeting. It'll be normally the meeting that we do the presentations on and proclamations on.
Thank you, Manager. Thank you, Jody.
Manager, that's the first meeting of the month when we do proclamations.
It's the second Monday, but the first meeting, yes.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Good
Sorry,
deal.
Thank you, Mayor.
Get it straightened out. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jody Kugler, Director of the Development Department. Tonight, I'll be presenting an overview of the Development Department's first quarter project review for 2024. First, I would like to introduce my planning staff. Michelle Arbizal is our Planner 1. Some of you might recognize her. She started her career with the city in 2016 in special events. Since then, she obtained her bachelor's degree in public administration and is currently working towards her master's in public administration while balancing being a mom and a wife. When I arrived with the city a year and a half ago, I had open planning positions. Michelle applied and was the best candidate for the position and has been a great asset to our department. Michelle, could you please stand up?
Thank you, Michelle.
And second, Chris McCrane is our principal planner. Chris was born and raised in the city of Stewart and has a deep compassion for honoring his history of the city and being a part of the future endeavors. Oops, hold on one second. I apologize. Chris went to school at FAU and obtained his urban planning degree. And I also had the pleasure of working with Chris at St. Lucie County, and he was one of my colleagues that we worked together. When I had a planning position available in the city of Stewart, I knew he was the right choice, and I would like to thank him. And if you could please stand up.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Okay. Just to give you a little background in the various divisions that make up the development department, as well as the duties and responsibilities that we are tasked with, the development department plays an administrative role within the city of Stewart and is responsible for the preparation, presentation, and implementation of the city's comprehensive plan, land development code, building codes, and the community development programs. Divisions of the development department include neighborhood services, business tax receipt, building, permitting, inspections, planning and zoning, and GIS. The Development Department is tasked with reviewing and approving certain minor development plan applications, including non-residential and mixed-use development under 50,000 square feet in an area in single-family, multifamily, and duplex projects under 35 units. Additionally, the Development Department is responsible for reviewing site permits, building permits, administrative variances, tree removal permits, business tax receipts, pre-application meeting requests, public records requests, inquiries, and customer service. Oops, why is this not, I apologize, this is not changing. There we go, I apologize. Okay. Okay. The Development Department is also tasked with reviewing all applications, petitions requiring approval from the various city boards, including the Community Redevelopment Board, Local Planning Agency, Board of Adjustment, and City Commission. The two planners and myself are responsible for reviewing these applications to ensure they comply with the city's code of standards and requirements, and also preparing the board staff reports, agenda items, and presentations. Between January 1st of 2024 and March 31st of 2024, the Development Department administratively approved 2 minor development plan applications, including Kitty Academy Daycare and Silver Lock Studios. At this time, there are 9 minor development plan applications under review. This is a snapshot of what Kitty Academy looks like, and if you can recall, this is the old Construction Journal site. This is located at 400 and 408 Southwest 7th Street, adjacent to the recently approved Creekside Hotel site. This minor development plan amendment approval allowed for the removal and reduction of parking to construct an outdoor playground area for approximate 12,250 square foot daycare. The development approval also provided for the change of use and building occupancy from an office building to a daycare facility for 191 students, associated interior and exterior renovations and landscape improvements. This is also the snapshot of what the Silver Lock Studios is formerly known as the Burger King and a 7-Eleven convenience store, and is located at 2223 Southeast Ocean Boulevard, across the street from Fresh Market. The minor development plan adjustment approval allowed for the change of use, building occupancy from a convenient restaurant to a professional office with recording studios for podcasts. No satellites, antennas, or broadcast towers are permitted on site for the proposed use. The site plan adjustment also allowed for the removal of the drive-through lane and window, landscape improvements, interior and exterior remodeling, and memorializing the uses required parking. These 2 development projects have been issued building permits and site permits and are currently under construction. These are administrative variances. We've approved 3 projects, and we have 5 under review. Right now, this is the developments under review. We have approximately 18 projects under review. This is just a snapshot of what the projects are. Developments under construction, these are ones that have already received either approval by the board or by administratively. We have quite a few that was approved in the last 6 months that are under construction. We've also prepared 10 pre-application meeting requests, and what that includes is the people who are trying to inquire what they can do with the site. They submit an application, we meet with them, with the various departments, and try to provide them guidance. We also, from this year, there was 265 public records requests. Out of those 265, the Development Department completed 131, or equates to 49%. We also reviewed the business tax receipt to make sure they comply with zoning requirements. This one was a unique year. We had a new system that was implemented. Our finance director was very good at implementing the business tax receipts. However, we did have quite a few glitches that always seems to happen when you get a new system. So we would like to thank the business community. I know it was a very tough year trying to get your business tax renewals, and hopefully next year will go smoother. Zoning permits and zoning reviews, these are, our planners will review the permits that are coming in-house, making sure that they meet all the zoning requirements, or if they're required to have any type of other escalated applications that would need to be reviewed by the administratively or through the city commissioners. Site development, we have 4 site permits issued, and what that is the infrastructure. It's the first permit that gets issued for a project, and we have 6 right now that are under review. This concludes my presentation, and staff is available to answer any questions the commission may have. Thank you.
And I also just wanted to
Madam Mayor?
follow up briefly, too. What we will be providing, as well as the information that we normally share with the joint meetings with the counties. And currently, there's some information going around. It's my understanding that there's discussion of slow growth versus fast growth, or whatever you want to call it. And the purpose of this is to clarify that the comprehensive plan was designed to make growth, in theory, all could have come on the first day. And at the end of the comprehensive plan, you would reach the end, and it would still be the same outcome as if it was done over a 50-year period or over a 2-year period, because the comprehensive plan was designed to cap that. The city's comprehensive plan has had growth projections of build-out between 25 and 30,000 people since the early 1990s. In 2007, it was updated for the consumptive use permit, and it was projected to be 28,000 by the year 2028, and that was after the 1990 annexations, where it increased by 40%. Last February, we updated the consumptive use permit, had the study done for the city of Stewart, and if all of the property that was left vacant in the city of Stewart was built to its maximum density, we would end up at 23,900 people, which would be below the 25 to 30,000 that the comprehensive plan originally projected for the growth at the end of the comprehensive plan at total build-out. So when you see, like we did maybe 7 years ago now, some apartments or multifamily get approved and people think or get alarmed that there's an enormous amount of growth, it's consistent with the comprehensive plan, and we're already at 97% build-out, and we've had less than 2,000 residential units approved since 2012, and I'll have the exact numbers for you at the next meeting. So for the last 12 years, it's been about a total of 2,000 units total, which gives us about a 1% growth rate.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Ms. Kugler, for your report. I wanted to ask you, on that list of pre-applications, did you give a timeline for when? Is that in the past 6 months or in the past year?
This is actually the first quarter from January through March of this year.
Okay, so if somebody had come in last year, because I was going to ask you if the Taylor Property pre-application conference, so it's just this quarter since January. So if they had come in previously, it wouldn't be in this. Okay.
We are also going to post this presentation on our website and update this and try to develop a development web page so people can see all the applications coming in, what's under review, what's under construction, what's coming up. So we will hopefully get this into a format so you can look at the applications, look at the plans that are submitted to us. So it will help alleviate some of the concerns by the public. And if you want to go on the website, then it will give you that information.
Thank you,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
that. I'm
you.
sure the public appreciates that.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank your staff for their work. Thank you.
All right, do I have any comments from any of our commissioners?
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner McDonald?
Two things. One is, 10 years ago, the city of Stewart entered into a sister city arrangement with Hopetown, Bahamas, and it was, for those of us, I think Yola was here, and it was a really exciting, and it coincided with our centennial events, and during that time, learned a few things about the Bahamas. For example, the portion of the Abacos is the only portion of the Bahamas that has local government. So
the fact that we were actually able to do something with the local government was rather exciting over there because they have so little local government. But from a personal note, I ended up becoming very good friends with several members of the local government over there. And one of them named Don Cash, who represented the town of Hopetown, passed away recently. And I was wondering if we could send a letter from the mayor offering condolence to his widow.
I think that would be
Yes, I agree.
So they were truly, he was a bigger-than-life individual, and I'm truly going to miss him. So anyways, the second thing I wanted to say is how exciting it was to see that USA Today named the city of Stuart as best coastal town in the country. You know, we beat out a lot of communities around the country, and I just think it just goes to show what a wonderful place that we live, how we have our best days ahead of us, and I was very, very happy and excited to see that. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Any of
Did
the
I
other
start down on this end?
Yes.
Thank you, thank
Commissioner
you.
Clark?
Thank you, Commissioner. So for the agenda today, and I discussed this a little bit with the mayor, not the mayor, the manager, and all I want to do, I just want to pull these so that at least the manager or the city attorney can read the things so that those who are in the public can hear and know what's on the consent agenda. I don't have any particular real big thing about them, but I think that a couple of them will probably get some discussion. So I'm going to go now and ask to pull items number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 from the consent agenda for discussion purposes. And I want to announce that I am planning to have a town hall at the 10th Street Recreation Center on or about the 30th of May, Thursday evening around 5:30 p.m. to kind of roll out some things about the East Stewart Advisory Committee, as well as some of the information that's going in on the website, and just possibly talk about recreational opportunities in our community. So we're going to be planning that, and it'll be properly advertised because it will involve inviting some members of a Sunshine Committee to come out and meet the public and have the public ask them some things. And they have their regular meeting coming up, I think, in June, their quarterly meeting. But I needed them there with me. I'm trying to get this town hall together. So it's going to be hopefully May 30th at 5:30 p.m. And as soon as we get that done and ready to announce, city manager will take care of it. We'll confirm everything. Third thing is that I've been invited and have accepted to serve on the Indian River Lagoon Task Force. And they're having a meeting in Sebastian on May 29th, 2024, so it's right before my May 30th meeting. It's another busy day. But they're going to be having that in person on the Indian River Lagoon Task Force, which covers a lot of area from throughout the Everglades and around the Okeechobee region and along the Indian River. And so it's going to be several people who are involved with that particular task force, there's a whole bunch of other Indian River Lagoon committees and activities, but this particular one they're working on. I think somebody from FAU called me and they asked me to participate, and I said yes. And I wanted to say that I think our city clerk had received some kind of commendation recently, but whatever it is, I just want to say again how much I appreciate our city clerk, and I appreciate our staff that works in our city manager's office, and for all the work that the Treasure Coast Legal Cities and all our clerks and others who put these things together for the ethics seminar that we had at IRSC on last Thursday. And there's a lot of things that had to do with public records and all the other things that we face at the city of Stewart. And it's a really big challenge for our city clerk to keep up with a lot of the statutory regulations, and for us also as elected officials. But I just wanted to thank everybody for the work that they've done, put into that. And I know that we have one of our commissioners who works on the Treasure Coast League of Cities. I think that's Commissioner Rich. And I just want to thank them for their work that they do to get that together for us so that we can stay compliant as a board of, city council board. That's it.
Any other
I have none.
Commissioner Rich?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to follow up on Commissioner Clark's comments regarding the ethics, which is ethics class, which is an annual requirement. And Commissioner Clark was there, and I was there with Mr. Campenny. What struck me was, and this perhaps can serve as an admonition to the public, I would think that many of you that take the time out of your day to come here and listen and participate, which is terrific, might also be the people who go online. The requirement is, and let me summarize it, social media is a trap. They really don't like elected officials to be involved in social media, because if they are discussing matters that come before the city, all of that is subject to the Sunshine Law. They are required to retain it, but not only their comments, but all of your comments have to be retained and become public record. And if requested, perhaps if you're not as nice as you might, if you're making inappropriate remarks, those are going to be kept and will be subject to public record requests. So what I certainly would urge my fellow commissioners to be extremely cautious. You can't alter, you can't delete anything that's on social media, and all of your comments will be held as public record. So let's all try to be as courteous and sensible as we can when engaging with public media. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any more?
No.
We'll hear from our manager.
You have nothing further, Mayor?
No.
I don't have any specific items to update you on. Obviously, we had a different meeting planned for tonight, and I thought it was going to be longer, but Commissioner Clark has assured us that we will make it worth our time with pulling what she did. And I did want to say, last meeting we had, we were celebrating Commissioner Clark's birthday, and I want to mention that Commissioner Rich's birthday was over the weekend, and he just celebrated a birthday as well. There's nothing like embarrassing someone about their birthday, so I couldn't resist. But that's all I've got.
All right, good. Okay. Should I get approval of the agenda?
Move approval as published and pull in the items.
Which were they again, Commissioner Clark?
We haven't got to the consent.
4 through
4,
9.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
She's just talking about the agenda.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
I have a motion for approval of the agenda. You have a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion, we have a second. Any comments from our commissioners? I see none. Any comments from the public? I see none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And I also I did have one other note here. There was, the mayor's birthday was also on Friday, so we have a very busy birthday week. How old are you?
And I do have, we're now going to the comments from the public. Travis Deckers? Deckers? Hi, good evening.
I'm terrible at public speaking, so I'm going to stick to my script.
Not as bad as I am.
So, good evening, everybody. My name is Travis Deckers, and I'm a member of City Sewer Fire Rescue's Local 2411 Union, and also part of its benevolent. For those of you who don't know, Benevolent is a 501c3 charitable organization that's associated with the Local 2411 Unit Stewart Fire Rescue. We help the residents of the city of Stewart in their time of need, and also other charitable organizations and different projects across the Tri-County area. Some of the things that we've done here, we recently accomplished repainting the Veterans Building off MLK Junior Boulevard, the historic Cherokee Building, with Miss Glenda Preston. We hosted an event to raise money for the tools and equipment to help paint the murals, and we also helped to rebuild a portion of Warren Park. Tonight I'm here to spread the word for our new event, which is going to be our inaugural pumper poll on May 18th at Fraser Creek Brewing and Distilling. So one of the common questions we get is, what is a pumper pole? Well, it's time for you to flex your muscles and join the team of 10 people by taking a long rope that's attached to a fire engine, weighs over 30 tons, and drag it a little bit over 100 feet for the fastest time.
Let's go.
So the main reason we're doing this is aimed at raising awareness and funds for first responder mental health. This is something that is very important to us, and we see it becoming more and more a common issue amongst those in public safety. Over the past month alone, our fire rescue and police department has had several high acuity calls that in some fashion left a permanent mark in the memory of some of our firefighters and police officers. We do our best for our men and women, but the science and stigma behind mental health is just not where it needs to be yet. For background on this issue, here are some statistics from major studies. 28% of first responders have reported having a lifetime feeling that life is not even worth living. 10.4% of first responders has extreme circumstances suicidal ideation. 37% of first responders are 10 times more likely to contemplate suicide than the average American adult. Statistics also say that 30% of first responders will absolutely develop some type of behavioral health condition in their lifetime. For those wondering, when they look at firefighters who experience cardiac arrest on the job, and they are young or look like they maintain a healthy lifestyle, due to the stress effects of the job alone, these deaths constitute up to 50% of all firefighter line of duty deaths. The stigma of mental health is terrifying as well. Studies show that over 70% of first responders feel as though that seeking mental health will result in them getting in trouble with their employer, or they feel embarrassed and weak due to the decades of poor outlook on seeking help. Recently, a plethora of programs have been coming out for mental health. Here at Stewart Fire Rescue, we applaud our chiefs for taking an active role in our mental health by allowing our members to become peer council certified and for understanding the mental health of their personnel. However, these dreadful statistics across the nation have assuredly not changed, as last year there were more first responder suicides than the year prior. We have to continue to work to do better together. The cloud over mental health should not exist, and that's why we're hosting this event, to do our part in bettering the statistics and the stigma. On a brighter note, let's talk about the main event. Like I said, teams of 10 people will be pulling a 30-ton fire rescue truck or fire engine across 100 feet for the fastest time. And don't worry, we'll have plenty of ice-cold Fraser Creek Brewing and Distilling beverages to help you cool off and celebrate afterwards.
There you go.
So gather your friends, family, and coworkers, and form a team to participate in this event. Or if you'd rather cheer from the sidelines, come out and show your support for our first responders. The event is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Fraser Creek Brewing and Distilling. Thank you.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Awesome. Lori McKenna, is Miss McKenna still here?
She just went outside.
Okay. Robin Bender? Welcome, Ms. Bender.
My name is Robin Bender, and I'm here on behalf of 650 Southeast Indian Street to address the 500 Indian Street. We're in the adjoining plaza, and I just have to express on behalf of my medical office, I'm the administrator there. This is, in our opinion, an extremely bad idea, a bad situation that would evolve. Our plaza contains a pharmacy, contains an oral surgeon, and contains our dermatology practice. It has high-end restaurant that's there, along with the
you, ma'am. Ms. McKenna? Good evening, Ms. McKenna.
Well, this is my first time getting involved in things here at school. I've been here 19 years, and before that I lived in Fort Lauderdale for 5 years. And I moved away from Fort Lauderdale because of the danger of riding on the roads there. Traffic was horrendous. Crime was getting bad. And came to Stewart, and it was voted a wonderful city to live in. And I have my fears about where that's going to go moving forward. I came tonight to speak to you about the rehab, but I also wanted to mention that other changes happening in the town are making me apprehensive about where we're going. So, again, there's children that are going to be, that live across from this 500 Indian Street location. It seems to me that the school is around the corner, as mentioned, the water park. There are multiple reasons why that's not a good location. I drove by the location last evening and noticed there wasn't one car anywhere. So obviously, it's not operating as a facility for anybody at this time. So I would assume that because of this, the developers are trying to figure out a way to get their money out of this investment that was made there, because I think that we have maybe even too many of these types of memory care things in the area. Everything just started booming in the last few years, and including a lot of the housing that's going on. It's just bossing all around us, even though the comprehensive plan states that this is under what you expected. Somebody has to deal with the consequences of what happens when you overcrowd an area with facilities like this rehab street, or so many apartments crowded in with no green space. It's changing all the traffic on the roads, so there's going to be many concerns for crime, traffic, whatever. But because when people go to a facility that is for rehab, I imagine they're not going to lock them down, so they're going to be out in the street. It's my understanding that drug dealers would love to come and get the addicts recooked on what they can sell. And this is in a neighborhood where there's children across the street, there's children going to school, there's new apartments right across diagonally along the river where children are living. And it's a big concern for all of us. I don't think we need people that come from all over the country to meet the needs of the developers who built something that what we really have use for. And they're trying to change the zoning to make it useful to them, but not really to this community at large. Is that a time? Okay, well, thank you very much, and very nice to meet you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Stacy Lusardo? State your name for me.
Stacy Rosardo,
Okay, good.
resident of Palm City. I've been here for like 25 years. I'm also here as somebody who works in these kind of facilities, sees the day-to-day, work locally in a place that's great, small and manageable. And that is not what I'm hearing this to be. And I think size matters a lot in this particular instance. And knowing what I know about the day-to-day, I would be really concerned for all the things people have talked about here. Not easy to manage a facility like this. Even in our best efforts, just to confirm, it's definitely not locked down. People can come and people can go. And when people come into places like this, they actually like to leave. So that's really important for people to understand. There are more locked doors in these facilities, so a lot of them will not have transportation either. So they won't be going in their car and leaving Martin County. They'll be leaving by foot. They'll be desperate, and they'll go to whatever's closest to them. And unfortunately here, we're talking about schools, water parks, businesses.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Wendy Rivers?
Hi,
Welcome, Ms. Rivers.
I'm Wendy Rivers, I'm CFO at Coastal Detox, which is a
Can you speak directly in the mic? I can't hear.
Bend
Is
it down.
Is it the best mic? It's not working?
We're having mic issues.
Okay,
Okay, I'll just try to speak louder.
we'll try another one.
Okay, I think you can hear me. Okay. Hi, I'm Wendy Rivers. I'm a CFO at Coastal Detox, which is on Indian Street. I would just like to tell you a little about the detox rehab industry. When our patients come into our door, again, we're not a locked facility, but when they come in our door for help, they are usually highly intoxicated or on a high amount of drugs. There has been times that myself and other members of management have walked
Sorry about that.
have walked after intoxicated individuals that are at our facility to admit as the urge of drinking or drug use overpowers them and they walk out onto Indian Street trying to get the last high. All staff members that are available to assist walk with them, trying to get them to come back for their own safety and prevent from wandering the local community because it will cause a disturbance. We also have patients that try to get their last high before coming in, and half the time they're overdosing at our front door and have to be Narcaned and also called the EMS. I personally had to chase an intoxicated female down Indian Street that was falling into traffic and causing endangerment not only to herself, but also to other traffic drivers. Several drivers stopped traffic as well as called 911 because a truck did almost hit her. It took myself and 2 other staff members to basically carry her arm in arm to get her back to Coastal safely without an accident. Our 35-bed facility has a 15% AMA rate, and that is with us taking all precautions we can to help them get the treatment they need to get healthy. Based on my experience, the AMAs will be very difficult to control with a 140-bed facility and limited staff. It is just too large for a facility for our local community. That's all. Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you very much. Jim Haviland?
Hello, thank you for having me. I also work at Coastal Detox. I'm a driver for the facility. But I want to share a little bit of experience I've had working in other treatment facilities. I've lived in Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, in the Delray, Lake Worth area, working in large facilities, multiple facilities. And I've seen firsthand the chaos and how difficult it is to manage these places. As I heard earlier, I left those areas and came to Stewart about 9 years ago. I too work at Coastal, I drive for Coastal, and I pick up these clients that are intoxicated, doing drugs, using drugs, and I have to manage my way back to Stewart. I've had overdose in the van where we had a Narcan. I've had clients that wanted to get out of the van on the Florida Turnpike and try to run out into traffic. So it's like having these large facilities and multiple facilities in the same area just actually creates chaos. It'll bring a different element into the community. Excuse me, I'm nervous. I didn't come well prepared, but I just wanted to share my experience with this industry. You know, and Coastal is where I work. It is a lot smaller facility, and I never seen a facility that operate the way they do, the way they actually do care about these clients and how they really do understand the drug and alcohol industry, the addiction industry, and how they go above and beyond where my experience in other places, it was more a business, it was more an insurance policy, you were more a number than you were a client that was seeking help. And that's all I got, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Christopher Govianos?
Runs with asparagus. You seven are intimidating. I'm going to stick to the script. Good evening. My name is Chris Garrigus, and I'm very proud to say that I've been in recovery for over 10 years now, recovering from a severe 15-year drug addiction that almost took my life on multiple occasions. As the Director of Admissions at Coastal Detox, I am equally as proud and very grateful to God that I am able to effectively use my life story to help others with their own addiction issues. Joe and Christina, the owners of Coastal Detox, asked me to publicly share my story here today to help provide some insight into the life of an addict, beyond just the statistics. Born and raised in Palm Beach County, I got addicted to drugs when I was 18 years old and stayed in active addiction until I was 33 years old. Growing up with an absent father, my mom was very concerned about me, at least for a while. So much so that she added me to her insurance policy and begged me to seek treatment for my addiction and abandonment issues. Over the course of the next several years, I was in and out of treatment centers and sober living homes, but was unable to commit to the treatment process because of my severe withdrawal symptoms were simply greater than my desire to be clean and sober. Plus, I knew that there would always be another treatment facility that would eagerly admit me thanks to the great out-of-network insurance policy that my mom had me on. I could go anywhere. Through it all, I did absolutely whatever I needed to fuel my addiction. Most of the times, criminal activity and theft. I used to steal from big box stores like Home Depot and Walmart. Would also be on the lookout for my next fix by stealing from homes, cars, and boats. I even stole from my family at times. Anything I could get my hands on to sell for drugs. After many years on this drug-fueled carousel, in and out of jails and probation periods, my mom ultimately had enough and cut me off completely, with no insurance or financial support of any kind. I still did what I always did, begged and stole to feed my drug addiction. When the law started closing in on me in Palm Beach County, I moved up north to Stewart. But not long after arriving in Stewart, I was caught stealing again from a local pawn shop and was taken to the Martin County Jail for another grand theft charge, one of many. As a 3-time convicted felon, I spent 10 months in the Martin County Jail where I detoxed in a cell. I'll never forget it. I was 33 years old and really wanted to get my life back, so I voluntarily joined the Dunklin jail program, and after completing, was sent to prison in the Panhandle for 5 months, which also I will never forget. After being released from prison, I moved into a sober living home and set my sights on getting my life on track. I am extremely grateful and blessed to use my story and life experiences as a means to help others break free from the same chains of addiction. Coastal Detox is an in-network facility that specializes in substance use and behavioral health disorders, and I'm very grateful to be part of a team that helps people recover. It's very rewarding. Accountability, continuity, and aftercare is what's needed for a struggling addict and alcoholic to fully recover, and Stewart has a special place in my heart. It's where I finally got sober and started a healthy life that I still have today. I'm very concerned about Stewart turning into a Delray Beach type situation with rampant crime and active addiction roaming the streets, because this is where I live and I choose to raise my 3-year-old daughter. Thank you for taking the time to hear my story. God bless.
Thank you, Christopher. It's not easy to come up here and spill out your guts in front of everyone, like your whole life. Walter Lloyd? Good to see you, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you. Good to see you all, too. So I came tonight mostly to listen and learn a little bit more about it, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And everyone else that's contributed. But I also don't live far from that area, and it's not in my backyard kind of thing for me. It's more about the reason I moved here to Stewart, which was to enjoy a small coastal town with a small town environment. And I've had to watch while a couple of y'all up there had made some, I think, radical abuses to the comprehensive plan and to land use codes to put a Costco in there, and quite a few apartments that are pretty much right on the roadway and no cover, no ambiance that fits our city. As it comes to this, it sounds to me like you're gonna have to do another radical change in the land use codes. And I'm asking you, please, don't. I mean, our comprehensive plan is in place for a reason. There is a legacy, and a lot of us moved here and invested in this community for that reason. So please, respect it and stop doing what you're doing with the land use codes and the abuse of the comprehensive plan. Thank you.
Jill Brotherton. Welcome, Ms. Brotherton.
Hi, I'm Jill Brotherton. I have had a business in the city of Stewart and have lived in Martin County for 40 years. In 2013, I was going to move, I actually live in Palm City now, and I was going to move to downtown Stewart. So after work, I would take my dog and walk around, see where I wanted to be, and I walked numerous times past the rehab center that's in what was Dr. Cooper's office. Harassed often, was asked for money, was asked to use my phone. They would loiter outside and smoke and vape. It made my decision not to move to the city of Stewart. I actually feared for my life. And so my concern is to have a facility 3 times as big in an area that I frequent often because I dine in that plaza. My dermatologist is in that plaza. It concerns me very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie Ferreira. Welcome, Valerie.
I'm Valerie Ferreira. I've been in this community for 24 years working as a nurse. Past 9-10 years I've been working in detox and rehab and psychiatry, also family medicine as well. I am the owner of a local business, New Day Psychiatry, and I very much support treating addiction, but I feel like it's something that should be done in a small environment. Just like everyone else has said, when these people leave against medical advice, that means they don't have an ID, they don't have money, they don't have a car, they have their feet, and they may or may not have shoes on them, and they're walking up the streets, and they're gonna go wherever they can go to get their fix. They're gonna go try and steal and rob. They're not gonna have anywhere to stay. They don't have their things. And so I am very much for treating these people in small environments, but definitely not in the big environment that this place is wanting to offer. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Joseph O'Grady? Welcome, Mr. Grady.
Good evening. My name is Joseph O'Grady. Together with my wife, Christina Tucker, and our 2 adult children, Ross and Judy, who are also here, our family owns and operates Coastal Detox, a 35-bed inpatient medical detox and substance abuse treatment facility that we built from scratch here in the great city of Stuart, Florida. As experts in substance abuse treatment, our entire family is here today to publicly implore the Stuart City Commission to reject this petition needed for this proposed 140-bed treatment facility to open its doors in Stuart, Florida. Why? Because, I mean, despite what has been said in the media, it's certainly not because this proposed facility is going to be a competitor of Coastal. As the applicant himself agreed at the LPA meeting in March, Coastal is not a competitor of the proposed facilities in that our Coastal facility is an all-in-network Medicare and Medicaid-approved facility that for the past 8 years has been focused on treating the medical detox and substance abuse treatment needs of this local community of people that are in and around Stuart, Florida. The proposed facility, on the other hand, will be in a very exclusive, all out-of-network and cash pay only facility that, by the applicant's own admission at the LPA meeting, intends to serve the mental health and substance abuse treatment needs of the entire United States of America by spending untold millions of dollars in internet advertising as the means to acquire patients from all over the United States with out-of-network policies and with cash, in need of mental health and substance abuse treatment services, and then flying them into our town for treatment, effectively turning the city of Stewart into something similar to Delray Beach. If the proposed facility is not then a threat to our coastal business, why would our entire family come out so strongly against this proposed facility? Well, first and foremost, because we love the city of Stewart. We love living and working in what is widely considered to be the best coastal community in the United States, thanks in large part to this very city commission. But more importantly, though, as true experts in this field of substance abuse and medical detox, we know that the logistics and the unintended consequences of this proposed facility are tragically flawed, as is its location here in Stewart. And my wife, who's the CEO and the brains of our company, she's going to come up and talk in more detail about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Christina Tucker, Ms. Tucker, welcome tonight.
Good evening. My name is Christina Tucker. I'm the CEO of Coastal Detox. Obviously, I'm not a politician, but it is my understanding, I would imagine, that in order to approve a change like this, it should be a benefit to the public. Well, I'm here to share at least 3 very important reasons why I do not believe that it would actually be a detriment to the public. As evidenced by this plan, this comprehensive list of treatment centers published by Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration website, the proposed facility would be of the largest in the state of Florida. Why am I so concerned of this? Because as we know firsthand of running one, 35 beds, which were zoned for 80, but we decided to keep it at 35 after we were in business for a while and not fill our other 2 buildings with additional beds. It's so hard to operate and manage, as you're hearing from some of our colleagues in the industry. The second reason, there will be a significant increase in need for emergency services. As evidenced by, again, we had a detailed report of the emergency calls for the applicant's facility, which is substantially smaller in Port St. Lucie. In 1 year, there were 100 calls. In just last month of March, there were 17 calls. Considering this facility would be 4 to 5 times as large, this would be magnified by 4 to 5 times. The third is, and most grave concern by far, revolves around the unintended consequences of the proposed facility in the vast number of patients that would freely choose to walk off the property against medical advice, AMA, as again you've heard from some of our other colleagues. The overwhelming need to use drugs and alcohol caused by their withdrawal symptoms is just too hard for them to bear. And they are not in a lockdown facility. Even though we do 15-minute checks, you take your eyes off of them for 5 minutes, they're out the driveway, oftentimes before you even realize it. It's critical to note that the national average in our industry is around 23%, meaning that upwards of 40 patients per month will be walking off property. Now, out of network, you would say to yourself, okay, most of these people are going to have means and they have good insurance policies. But what it comes down to is that now that your young adults are allowed to stay on their parents' policies up to 26 years old, what happens a lot of times is...
Finish your sentence.
Okay. They failed at the local level. Their parents say, we're going to give it one more shot. We're going to fly you down to Florida. But if you fail this time, we're not supporting you financially anymore and lose our number. So thank you all for listening to our concerns. And I trust it's all in your hands.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am. Gail Goldie. Ms. Goldie. Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. It's nice to see you all again. I wanted to just talk about this new facility that's there where it used to be the assisted living facility, Your Life. I was very familiar with the internal layout and everything of your life. I understand that this new facility would be putting in 135 beds. I think that's what the number was, 135. And I have a great concern about putting something like that on Indian Street when we have all of the schools, the water park, everything that everyone's talking about. But years ago, I did spend quite a bit of time down in Delray when a lot of the drug rehab centers were opening up. And I can tell you that when I was down there, I visited many of the drug and alcohol rehab centers. And I will tell you that one of their biggest problems that they had were people leaving their facilities to go out and seek more drugs or alcohol. And it was a huge problem. That has calmed down quite a bit in Delray. Many of those places were put out of business because they did not meet the standard for their licensing. They broke a lot of the rules, or they didn't meet the rules. Many of the owners of those facilities down there were put in jail because of the abuse to the insurance and a lot of other issues. But also, this facility, where are they going to get the staffing for 135 beds? The staffing is enormous that they will need. And where are they going to pull those people from to staff this facility? So I would just like to say that, I want you to seriously, seriously consider putting another facility in that size on Indian Street. It's something we really don't need. What about Baker Acts? What about the Baker Act? How many Baker Acts are they going to accept? Are they accepting Baker Acts? I did not see information on that, but I'm sure that's probably something to be considered. So that's all I'd like to say, and I appreciate each one of you commissioners that have these hard decisions in front of you. But I hope that you will stick to the comprehensive plan and certainly keep Stewart the beautiful little city that we live in. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the last of the green cards. Anyone else? One more? We have two.
Three.
Yes, three. Come and speak. Give me your name and phone number, your address, and then fill the green card out.
What's that?
And then fill the green card.
Okay, all right, well, Bob Shannon, live in Stewart, been here about 8 years, Florida resident for about 45 years. Thanks for all the comments tonight, especially, what's your name again? Craig, sounds like. Good. I got the rest of the story. I got the rest of the story tonight. I've been listening to this debate going on about this drug rehab facility going into Stewart. I'm against it, totally. The only reason why I'm against it is when I first moved here 8 years ago, I had a conversation with a police officer, just by happenstance, one afternoon, and I asked him, what's the biggest problem in Stewart that we have for citizens and for the overall city? And he goes, the drug rehab houses. That was 8 years ago. He goes, that's our biggest problem, because what happens, like I found out, insurance runs out at 26, where do they go? They stay here. And what do they do when they stay here? Thanks for everybody here, they commit crimes and other things. So anyway, that's why I'm against it. Thanks for the stories from everybody.
Thank you, sir. Don't forget to fill it out.
Hi, how are you? My name is Joseph. Again, I didn't write anything down. I appreciate what everybody is saying. I'm working in a facility right now with almost 12 years. I run the kitchen, so I am definitely face-to-face with these clients that we have, that AMA, Baker Act, ASA. It's really a lot more in depth than what everybody has said over here. It really is. I moved here 30 years from New York, and I was like, wow, they're awesome. Moved down to Palm Beach Gardens because more jobs were down there. Met a beautiful woman, moved up here. I said, this is going to be awesome because Palm Beach Gardens is going to be like Boca. Now, I'm looking at Sebastian, Vero. My wife doesn't want to hear it, but that's where I'm at because what's happening now is way more than I don't see how we got that award for the best community because, like, it's not there. To me, it's not there anymore. I'm a old school. Anyhow, there's a lot to it. You know, you have Baker Acts, they're gonna get, at my place, they get picked up, brought over to Coral Shores. In about a week, they come back, that's great. Many times they hop the fence, they go around, hit the liquor store, find somebody that, again, they don't have any ID, they don't have anything. What if, think about the ambulances that are gonna be coming in and out of there. I mean, we're gonna have that beautiful Costco gift right here with, we already have a jail facility, a high school. I wasn't a big lover of Coastal when it came in because of where I live. I understand that it was really small, so I was happy. And where I live is just behind where this facility is, where the adult facility was. And my son and all his friends used to play in that creek. And if he was 5, 6, 7 years old, he wouldn't be able to play in that creek. I don't want to be overprotective for my son, because to me, that's like a Florida kid. Fishing, playing in the water, doing all that, to me, that would be gone. I just, again, I didn't really write everything down, but in my heart, this kind of hurts, because I'm not against places. We need that kind of help, okay? It's just not right there. I mean, they're gonna hop the fence, they're gonna do whatever they can to get out. They're not gonna have any means to get around, just like other people said. The families cut them off, and that's it. We're gonna, how many times out my place where they're sleeping right in the street? And I'm a little bit south of here, and it's a really nice area. And I can't believe they even allowed, like, we don't get in trouble for things like that. It's just, you know, and I get to see the reports of where these people come from. And I'm like, wow, they're only like 5 miles from where I live. I can't believe I have to share this area with a person that's been here 6 times, court-ordered, so.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. That's it.
Was there one more? Your
Hi.
name?
Yes, it's Jeannie Jones. I filled out a green flyer, but I can do another one. I am a licensed mental health counselor here in Florida. I have practiced for 15 years, 10 years here in the Treasure Coast. I have specialized in working with severe psychiatric and addictions. Here in Stewart, I also had a private practice for some time. I currently am a mother of 3 and I work for the school district of Port St. Lucie as a mental health counselor for our schools. My main concern with this type of facility is in my role as a clinician, there is not enough outpatient services to provide follow-up care for these individuals that would be traveling across country to get rehab, because we don't have enough for our own individuals, our own residents in our community here in the Treasure Coast. It's also very alarming, the proposal of such a large facility with the amount of staff being proposed also. It's not realistic. It requires 2 to 3 staff members per resident, or per client in an inpatient facility. I've worked in residential, detox, and outpatient setting, and it's just not realistic. The amount of individuals that leave against medical advice in that state of early recovery, going through detox care, is typically for a facility around 50%. Like I said, I worked as a compliance officer, I ran the numbers. For Coastal Detox, them saying 15%, that's outstanding. That's not heard of in our industry. The other concern I have is how they expect to staff that large of a facility if they decide to increase their number of staff. I'm a licensed clinician. There's not many of us out there. And in order to work at a facility that is accepting in-network insurance companies, you are required to have licensed clinicians. It's a requirement in order to get paid. And the person proposing this facility does not have a good reputation amongst us therapists in the Treasure Coast community due to massive layoffs, due to bad business decisions. So I urge you guys to really think about this, the type of individuals it's going to bring from out of state, like others said. young adults that are using their parents' insurance that are given that chance. We've seen it. I worked in Palm Beach 5 years, saw it happen. They get cut off and they're on the streets. I've worked with the Stewart Police many, many times to assist in helping individuals and to get this treatment, whether it's Coastal Detox or Coral Shores. And there's just not enough services for this type of facility here. Thank you for your time.
That's all. I do want to say, and I, maybe my commissioners here agree, we've listened to you all. We're happy that you came and told us your stories, and we appreciate that very much. Now we will go on.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
can I ask City Manager again if when we took item number 11 and 12, was it reset for a date certain?
We haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we get there, we'll put the reset. Just because these people might leave if they want to come back again. When it's heard, I wanted to make sure that they know that. All right, thank you.
I need a approval on the consent calendar. We pulled, I think, all of them but 2 and 3.
She didn't actually, the commissioner didn't pull any, she announced that she was going to
I
pull
was
them.
asking
That would
for-
actually happen right now when you do the
Okay, yeah.
consent.
Okay.
So I'd like to pull items number 4, 5, 6, what was it again?
7, 8, 9. All of them, I think?
Yeah, I have it written down here somewhere. No, I didn't have 2 and 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you're right.
Second.
We have a motion to approve 2 and 3. Is that how I did that?
No.
Just go down each
The
one.
consent
I think we
calendar.
need to. Yeah, the consent
Pulling
calendar.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Either way is fine.
Right.
That's what I thought. Do I have a motion for approval on the consent calendar 2 and 3?
Move to approve.
Need a second.
Items
Sec-
2 and 3.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a
Can you guys step
second.
outside if you're going to be talking? They're still trying to have the meeting.
And do we have any comments? I have a motion and approval. I mean, I have approval and a second. Do we have any comments from the commissioners? It's hard here. We don't have any. Any comments from the public? I see none. We will roll call on 2 and 3.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes. Okay. The Selfish K final plat. We can have our attorney read it.
Of course, Madam Mayor. Resolution number 39-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, to approve a plat titled Replat Number 1 of Town Park, being a replat of Town Park according to the plat thereof as recorded in Plat Book 11, page 85, Public Records of Martin County, Florida, all lying and being in Section 9, Township 38 South, Range 41 East, City of Stuart, Martin County, Florida, containing 4.88 acres, more or less, prepared by Michael T. Owen of Engineering, Design, and Construction, Inc., and mapper number 5556 for Sailfish K RPUD, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you. Madam Mayor?
Yes.
So, Ms. Kugler, you just made a presentation, and I probably didn't see the, on the board. Where would the Sailfish plat, because that's not in this quarter, you only reported the things that were in this quarter, and that was something that was previously approved. So it wasn't included in those numbers?
Well, if you actually take it in its entirety, this is a replat of the
Yes, a
town park
replat.
plat.
Yes.
That was done in the early 90s.
Yes, okay.
So that plat would have been in the probably 1992.
I know we went from the commercial there, so I just wanted to make, to check with you on that.
Yes, ma'am. This is the Selfish K that you approved last year, the only
Right.
residential project that required 60 townhomes. They're going to be individually owned, so they are required to do a replat.
Okay, that's on Central Parkway and everything. That's what
The
I'm
reason
sure.
for this is because they're individually owned.
That is correct.
Right.
Yes. So may I make a motion to approve resolution number 39, 2024, Sailfish Cay final plat?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Any more comments from our commissioners? I see none. Any comments from the public? There's not any. Roll call, please.
Mayor Brunner,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins,
No.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald.
Yes.
4 yes and 1 no.
Thank you.
Okay,
Madam Mayor, I also pulled item number 5 in the consent, the Old City landfill extension. And again, for the public who's not here, and to make sure that it's read into the record, whatever action we take today by the city attorney.
Resolution number 46-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, extending the due diligence period at the Old City of Stuart landfill from April 30th, 2024 to September 30th, 2024, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
I know that this is self-explanatory, but is there anything that you'd like to add to that, City Manager? It's a
No.
6-month change,
I mean-
extension.
We talked about it last meeting. They've requested an extension to continue doing the investigation. You guys are free to vote no.
Move to approve.
Second.
we have a motion for
Madam Mayor,
approval.
may I ask
Yes,
you-
yes, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
Mike, I assume they're optimistic, otherwise they would not be asking for the extension, which is.
I mean, I don't think that they'd be spending the money
That's
if they
right,
thought that
yeah.
it was going to be a failure. They finished the initial testing, and they're moving on to phase 2, which obviously becomes much more expensive. So I don't think they would be doing it if it was worth it. And I did have a discussion with them as it related to the tax credits and things like that. And honestly, that's not even that lucrative for them at all because of the way the amount of the cleanup versus the way you get the tax credits and the capped amount. They would have to extend the cleanup over a 10-year period to obtain the full tax credits for it because you're only allowed a certain amount per year. So it's their intention to finish this phase, and if they determine that they can move forward, to move forward and try to make the land productive as fast as they can, because quite frankly, they don't see the tax credit as great a benefit as some others do.
And because this was a brownfield, this is not going to be
They want to do.
residential, this is going to be a
This'll light
commercial site.
industrial. It'll be light industrial, and Ashley Capital is the largest industrial landholder, I believe, in the country.
Yeah, they are. Wow. And, Madam Mayor, if I may, I spoke with Mr. Morton, I think is how he pronounced his name. Anyways, they've done hundreds of these. They don't sell their land, they maintain when they buy property, whether it's they're not just doing flips, they're doing quality projects that they plan to keep in their portfolio for many, many years. So, and I think that's a very good thing because they want quality. They'll sacrifice time to find quality tenants for their stuff and quality projects to build for us. And again, it's all commercial industrial that they do, so.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, if there's no other discussion from the board, I'd like to move resolution number
We have a motion.
46.
We have.
Oh, we did have,
We have a motion, Commissioner McDonald,
Second.
and you
And Clark.
second.
I second.
Seconded.
I think so, I did.
Yep. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any more comments from the commissioners? I don't see any. Any comments from the public? There's not any. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Rich,
Yes?
Commissioner Collins, Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald,
Yes.
Mayor Brunner.
Yes. Okay.
Madam Mayor, this is regarding, item number 6 is regarding
All right, let me
referendum.
read it and then we'll go.
Okay,
into that,
okay, all right.
Referendum lease agreement request from the Stewart Heritage Museum. Lee, would you finish it?
Of course, Madam Mayor, resolution number 47-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, providing for a referendum under City Charter, Section 9.05, seeking voter approval for the city to lease for more than 10 years the property known as the Stewart Feed Store, located at 161 Southwest Flagler Avenue, to the Stewart Heritage Museum. Said lot adjoins city property fronting the St. Lucie River, providing for conflicts, severability, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This was just to let the city manager announce with regard to the referendum, whether it was August or November, just to let people know, and if there's any history with regard to this. That was all I pulled it for.
Well, the referendum will be held in August. The language, as you can see on the agenda item,
Yes.
is not for a general. Normally, when we do these properties, we authorize the city commission to lease the property to anybody for any purpose. The actual referendum language in this particular instance is to lease the Stewart Feed Store to the Stewart Heritage Museum Board, so they can operate it as the Stewart Museum and continuation of that. The point of it is, though, that the charter language prohibits anybody, doesn't matter who it is, from operating in a lease or sale for any period that's more than 10 years. And although they were there already, the lease they had was 20 years long, and it expired. And the charter language says that it can't be options, continuations, additions, extensions, or anything. So we have to have the referendum, or else they would have to leave. And obviously, the sole purpose for restoring the building and for putting them there was for the historic preservation part of it and to provide the museum. So I limited the language to just keeping it there. Now, we can really jack up the rent. I'm just kidding.
I want to add to that, another fine addition to our city is that museum. And if you want to know about the history, and the old timers are there on Wednesday. So if you want to go downtown, learn more about your town, if you're new here or if you've been here 10, 20 years, they are there every Wednesday, a great group of men and women. And they volunteer too, and then run the place. But it's fun to be around those guys.
Madam Mayor, can I just say something with regard to this resolution number 47-2024? In the Section 3 of the resolution, the form of the ballot on August 20th, 2024 shall be long-term lease of city-owned property fronting tidal influence waters. And the question for the voters on August 20th will be, shall the city enter into a long-term lease of the property known as the Stewart Heritage Museum, also known as the Stewart Feed Store? This lease would provide that the property would continue to be occupied and maintained by the Stewart Heritage Museum Board, and then there would be either a yes or no of this ballot question, this referendum question on August 20th. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew, and that I know that, Mayor, you just said we support the Stewart Heritage Museum, and they've been in that building for some time, and it has really worked well for us at the city. Do we need?
Approve.
Okay, second.
We have approval, we have a second. Any more
Yes.
comments from our commissioners? Not any? Any comments? Yes, sir. Didn't realize that was you sitting back there. Welcome.
it is.
Thank you.
Taking it all in, and looked like things were going just fine. I think they are.
It's wonderful to
But-
see you.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City of Stewart staff, I'm Gary Maxwell. I'm the current president of the Stewart Heritage Museum Board of Directors. And I do have prepared notes to keep me straight. You know, the referendum that we're requesting is to be placed on the ballot so the residents of Stewart can give you the authority to lease this building to us. We've got a long history with the city of Stewart. We've got a long history with the residents of Stewart. And we go back to, you know, in the museum, I think we go back to the 1990s. We've had lease with the city. It renewed, you extended, you did everything you could to keep me in a lease until you finally said, you can't go any further. And you've allowed us to remain there pending getting it before the voters. We appreciate that. The museum's a cultural touchstone here in the community. It's a repository of artifacts, photographs, memorabilia from earlier times. We're open 7 days a week. We've had over 10,000 visitors come through the doors this past year. Wow. The museum has no admission fee. We're free to the public. We exist solely on donations, our membership, which is very reasonable. If anyone wants to sign up, we'll take you. And a little sales from our gift shop. So we're very blessed that this city has saw fit to acquire the building. We're very blessed that this city has seen fit to allow us to lease it at less than market value, and that's key. No, you can't up the rent and think we're going to survive. Y'all mentioned earlier the news article regarding best small town and coastal town. Yeah. Stewart Heritage Museum was specifically noted in that article. We are part of your downtown. We are part of your community. Our staff, the board of directors are all volunteers. We have very limited part-time staff. We're very good at watching our budget. So we appreciate your support. You know, some of the things we have in the museum, we've got artifacts from the Seminole Indians, the Eyes Indians. Yeah. We've got yearbooks going back from Stewart High School and Martin County High School, yearbooks going back, probably 40 years. It's just a great place to come and visit. And I encourage you all to take the time to visit with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's where you buy your license plate that says Stewart Selfish Capital. Amen. Of the world. Anyway, we'll move on. Oh, we have to vote. Yes.
We have a motion?
Yeah, we have a
We
motion
have
and
a
second.
motion to approve. Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Okay, move on to the next one. Lease agreement with Marine Industry Association for the city-owned property located at 401 Southwest Federal Highway, Stewart. And Lee, would you read that resolution?
Of course, Madam Mayor. Resolution number 48-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stewart, Florida, authorizing the city manager to enter into a lease agreement with an elected official, Marine Industries Association of the Treasure Coast, or another nonprofit agency for the city-owned property located at 401 Southwest Federal Highway, Stewart, Florida, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve a second. Any
And that one
comments?
is truly just to be read into the record.
Right, and I just, for the
You read
record,
it?
just to let you guys know, this property is in the same parcel as Shepherd's Park, so there is no separation or distinction between property lines. It's not like there's two parcels that make up Shepherd's Park. It is one parcel. And as a result, when the city accepted the FERDAP grant money to redo Shepherd's Park, a condition of the FERDAP grant absolutely prohibits you from using any of the property within the FERDAP grant area for commercial purposes or other than the recreational purposes. And if you do, you have to pay them back the amount of the grant money with interest from the day the grant started. But the real kicker is that you also have to give them an equivalent amount of money to replace the entire parcel, which is the subject of the grant. So I don't know what Shepherd's Park would cost, but it's got a serious length of waterfront property on it. And I wasn't about to be the guy that rented this out to like some T-shirt shop or whatever it was to have it only bankrupt the city to pay DEP back for the Shepherd's Park. And as a result, this opportunity to work with the Marine Industry Association and/or an elected official will allow us to get permission from the DEP, which I've already spoken to, and have tentative permission for the elected official, but the Marine Industry Association will already qualify as what they call an ancillary use, because they'll fix up the docks, they will provide information regarding the river, the Lake Okeechobee, and they'll do their annual river cleanup from there. So it really will be a win-win for both sides.
Thank you, Mike,
Madam Mayor.
especially telling the history of that.
Madam Mayor.
Yes. Commissioner Collins?
Mike, this gives you authorization to negotiate a lease, correct? Or is that going to come back in front of us
It
again?
won't come back, this is it, unless you guys want it to.
I would just, I think for, general information for everybody, the residents, they might want to know what that lease.
Do you guys want to go over the the Stewart history lease? Because we didn't do that, and it's not going to be much. I mean, I can do it if I'm happy to, but it's a 501c3 lease that's nominal. I mean, what number do you guys want?
I don't want a number, I was just,
I mean,
for public record.
Same thing
Okay.
with Brian Mass or somebody? Is that what? if
It's,
a-
yeah, it's going to be like that,
Yeah,
right?
elected official.
Representative Snyder?
Well, no, but you're saying the same terms.
Yes, yeah.
Do you mind sharing what?
Sorry, Congressman.
Well, the Stewart Heritage is $1, I think they paid so far. And then Brian Mast is a rate set by the federal government. I think it's right about $1,000 a month. And I think Toby Overdorf is right about the same price right now. I don't have the exact number, but I think it might be 1,100.
So this would be something like that?
I know that the Marine Industry Association can't pay the entire 1,100. They've already said that. They said they'd rebuild the docks, and I also said, that's why I included it as both, because what I can do is give half of it to an elected official, half of it to them, and then split that 1,100 in half, basically, based upon which portion gets what, or however it plays out. And the real opportunity for us is to have them maintain it, pay the electric bill, and keep it in shape, because like right now, it's empty, and the last tenant, the docks have not been rebuilt since the 2015 hurricane, so you can't walk on them. The deck outside, the nails are coming out of it, and boards are missing, and you can't walk on that. And there was debris and other stuff around it that literally made it like a dangerous condition. So my hope is that by having them clean it up and having them present there, it will provide an element of a benefit to the people in the park that will be able to interact with the Marine Industry Association, but also will allow them to clean it up for us at no cost to us.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Are you done, Mr. Collins? Mr. City Manager, isn't a little parcel of that going to be a part of the US 1 improvement with a little bit of landscaping?
So the front side of it is part of the CRA, unrelated to this lease. They want to use it as the sample for the landscaping portion to do the landscaping project that the CRA is doing all the way down to past Publix that the board passed a couple months ago. I actually hadn't discussed that really with the prospective tenants, because that we were going to do anyway. As the landlord, we'd have the right to do that regardless.
Thank you.
Let me make this, that I'm clear. We're voting on this as it is, correct? Do I have a motion on resolution?
We do.
We do already? We
Okay.
did. I did.
Okay,
We have McDonald and Clark.
all right.
Yes.
Any more comments from the commissioners? There aren't any comments from the public? I see
No,
none.
I'll make one comment. I'm happy that the city can be instrumental in providing easy access to their elected officials. And that's a great spot with good parking. And if people want to express their concerns about local government, this is a great opportunity for some. So I do appreciate that we are providing that opportunity.
I agree with you, and I think it also gives us a relationship with those folks as well that we wouldn't otherwise have. that's developed with the offices over here that have gone on, so it's really good.
Very good, thank you. Comments? All right, roll call?
Okay, Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes?
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Okay, application of cybersecurity grant agreement. Lee?
So, before we get in, we really aren't supposed to be having much public discussion on this, so
Okay.
it's a grant for us to have security on our computer systems, but
Thank
let him
you.
read, well, he's got to read it now anyway.
Can we move approval of 49-2024?
Okay. Do I have
Let
a
me-
second?
Let me read it
Yes,
into the
read
record.
it.
Let me read it into the record, Mayor.
Thank you, second.
Resolution number 49-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, authorizing submission of a Florida Department of Management Services Digital Service Cybersecurity Program Grant to continue enhancing and supporting the city's cybersecurity framework to mitigate risk and to protect infrastructure, and authorizing execution of a grant agreement if awarded, and further authorizing any minor amendments to the grant agreement to facilitate the program as appropriate, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Do I have a motion? Did I?
I had a motion and Commissioner Rich had a second.
Second? Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any comments, any more comments from our commissioners? I hear none. Any comments from the public? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes?
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go into site plan approval on future land use amendment applications for garage facility relocation. And Lee, would you read that resolution?
Of course. Resolution number 50-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, authorizing the city manager to submit site plan approval and future land use amendment applications necessary to relocate the City of Stuart garage facility, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Just for background, this is part of the plan that the commission, I think, has heard 2 or 3 times. It's consisting of, we were either going to update the garage or relocate it, and because the garage is an industrial use, it really wasn't appropriate in its location, so we put a design together to move it to the, adjacent to the water treatment plant and make part of the water treatment plant on the corner of Palm Beach Road and 10th. This agenda item is not any type of approval. It's only authorizing me as the city manager to submit the actual site plan to development as if I'm an applicant. And the first thing I need to do is the land that's on Palm Beach Road is currently zoned multifamily because it was going to be apartments, I guess, back in the 80s or 90s, like across the street is. We're going to change the land use to institutional, which is government use, which is consistent with the water treatment plant. And then the second part of it will be a PUD to have the commission approve the office building that's going to be on Palm Beach Road, and then the connection to the water treatment plant and the additional buildings and the paving of the parking lots in the road and all the design stuff. But the design is not, it will go through the normal board process, and all that will come back to you for your approvals and input.
All right, very good.
This is just authorizing me to file it and spend the money on the application fee.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion for approval. We have a second. Anyone else want to say anything? Any of the commissioners? None? Anyone from the public make any comment? You see none? Okay, roll call.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes?
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Okay, that's the end of that. Fiscal year 2024 mid-year budget adjustment. Okay, will you read that?
Of course. Resolution number 40-2024, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, authorizing budget amendment number 9 to the 2023-2024 budget, appropriating and authorizing the expenditure of funds to account for additional revenues and appropriations identified at the mid-year, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you. Joey?
Boss.
Do you have any comments, boss?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Commissioners, good evening. This is, as you were informed a couple meetings ago, the City of Stuart won the GFOA Distinguished Budget Presentation Award again. We had the highest rating that we've ever gotten previously. And as I had noted in an email when we announced that to the commission, part of that process is having the intestinal fortitude to put your business on the street. So basically what that entails is taking the City of Stuart's budget, and it is submitted for review by multiple, sometimes even international reviewers who come back with their grading of the quality of your budget on multiple factors such as readability, future, land uses, future capital improvement projects, the delineation and description of what we do with the tax funds, and there's a lot of informational, statistic, and just straight numbers in that document. You submit that for review, and these reviewers from around the country come back and state that you have or have not met criteria. And there's basically a didn't apply, failed to do it, did it adequately, or exceeded at it. And our overall rating was excelled this year. And so we do have some points that we didn't score excellent on, and we will work on getting excellent scores on those as well. But part of that process also is to allow you and the public an opportunity at the mid-year point, being the month of March now complete. We've had a chance to roll in revenues and expenses through the 6-year period, through the 6th period of the year, and to look at where we are versus the adopted budget. And it is my pleasure tonight to present to you what the status of the budget is at this moment, highlight some topics, and entertain your questions if you have any. Basically, I've disclosed for you where we are on our budget to actual status. Just some highlights. You'll see it's very good when revenues are at 6 months into the year, halfway through the year, to have revenues at 52% and the expenses at 50%. I can wholeheartedly say that that is because of the staff, and it always comes from the top down. The manager has a photographic memory, and he goes through people's P-card receipts now. So there's a lot of watching your step around here right now. And then as you'll see that there are, the CRA property. Unfortunately, the CRA, they are front-loaded. All the revenues come in generally early in the year, and then, the projects happen throughout the year. But, those TIF dollars from the city and the county have already been deposited into the fund. There are some CDBG grant funds that are there. That's why the revenue's not 100%. Those will be determined based on those projects. Our leased properties are doing well. 59% of what we projected to collect has been paid in, and we've only spent 41% on various maintenance expenses. Water and sewer, I'll tell you right now that the 3 enterprise funds all had some sort of debt service financing in them or some kind of interfund loan. These numbers are net of that because it would skew it. It would look as if, water sewer had only collected like 30% of their revenue, but it spent 42%. So I've presented these numbers as net to you without that debt in there. So this is basically just really the day-to-day operations. You'll see that all 3 of the funds are doing well. Sanitation had some upfront capital expenditures, which are seasonal. That's no indicator that they're headed off the rails. It's simply that they bought some large ticket items earlier in the year. I feel confident that sanitation as well as stormwater and water sewer are well on track to finish out the year within our guidelines that you adopted for the fiscal year 24. I presented it graphically here, and again, I noted that the enterprise funds are net of that debt. And so this gives you more of a graphical view of where revenues and expenses are chasing each other and how they're faring at this moment. Some of the revenue highlights, ad valorem taxes are coming in. We only budget 95% by law. We could budget more, but then we'd be on the hook if we didn't collect it. So as some people wait until the last day to pay, so they will come in. We'll wait for those additional deposits. Our voted debt service millage that we have to fund the GO bonds that we had on the public safety complex are still coming in. You can see that utility tax for electric and natural gas are faring quite well. Now, the permit inspection reviews and miscellaneous development fees, that's twofold. One, I think the implementation of the OpenGov software in Jody Nentwicks, or you're Kubler here, right? Okay, Kubler. Kubler's department, they now are very able to identify some of these fees and inspection things that were either not being collected or being recorded slightly wrong. They were being lumped into the total. Now we have a much more zeroed-in target on it with the automated permitting process, so the fees are being recorded hyper accurately. And also you see that they're beginning to collect some of the other fees that maybe weren't there. I expect that to go up as that process matures. I know that she had referred to some of the glitches in the software, but it seems to be working out. The staff is getting the swing of it finally. Franchise fees from electric and natural gas are also tracking very similar to the utility tax section of that. Our fire safety, public safety assessment has tracked as well. The Sewell's Point Protection, our agreement with them, they are good payers, just like these elected officials when they rent those properties from us. It's an ACH payment, so I don't have to chase them down. They're good payers. Ambulance fees are up. I can only attribute that to the chiefs and their rescheduling of some of the new ambulances and equipment they have. They're able to capture more of those runs that possibly were going to the county. Cemetery, unfortunately, I hope these are pre-purchases of people planning to be buried here one day, and not an uptick in actual burials. And then, of course, our parking fines and other service fees that the police department have charged have seen an increase. Again, I can only attribute that to the OpenGov software that they're utilizing over there. The police adopted it very quickly. Interest earnings, I mean, what can I say? I do a great job. No, I do actually sit on the State Board of Investment Review, and so the city of Stuart has an active hand in the determination of where government funds are invested. The Florida class is now over 7 billion funds under management, and so it's a very prosperous fund, and we offer multiple things. So not only, it's like the hair club for men, not only am I a client, but I'm on the board. Contributions from private and public, I guess more people have stepped up than what we had last year, and that's always encouraging to see. And then those miscellaneous revenues come from admin fees and retainage that we get on collecting other fees. We still collect fees for the county, and so we get to keep our little piece of the admin fee on that and other refunds and rebates that we get. It really is what it's called, miscellaneous revenues. And then these are the adjustments.
That's not such a little piece anymore.
Oh, no, it's, I mean, yes, it's not such a little piece. It's getting there. However, that is, Commissioner, to your point, if there's no activity, then there's no money. If there's activity, there's money. So it's kind of causality there. The revenues, as you can see, the fire department collects what's called the Gimme Grant, and they've been banking that up for a few years. And so they finally identified some capital items. So this is really a sum zero gain here, that it's a wash. We have the revenue. We had the cash in hand. We just weren't recognizing it as revenue yet. So we are recognizing that EMS Gimme Grant, and you'll see in the appropriation section where the fire department is offsetting that for purchasing stair chairs and carbon monoxide detectors. Then also, I am taking advantage of those increased interest earnings to offset some of these additional requests by the departments, as well as those additional rebates that you noticed, Commissioner, that are now not a small revenue item. Offsetting that, we've had some overtime issues in public safety. We're working our way through that. The Technology Services Department is constantly adding it. I can say in my 30 years here, we've gone from the wild, wild west to we're military-grade security here now. And also the planner position in the Development Department that was an FTE in the budget but was unfunded, in a sense frozen. The Development Director has chosen to activate that position, and I believe that I always try to match ongoing expenses with ongoing revenues, not one-time revenues, and I believe that we can sustain that position given our revenue flow. And there in the Water Sewer Fund, this is simply the OpenGov system that we currently utilize for all the other operations in the city. The staff was given some demonstrations of their asset management system and have chosen to add that to our family of products. And I was able to identify additional interest earnings in the Water Sewer Fund to add that expenditure to their budget as well.
That's a one-time acquisition cost for that
Yes, sir, that's the first.
capability?
That is the first year implementation to migrate all the data, do the training, set it up.
Okay.
The ongoing expense will be $60,000 annually.
For the Open Graph Cartographic Asset Management.
Yes, sir. That
System.
system would handle every manhole cover, park bench, meter, tree, curbside, trash bins, the pumps at the water plant, the trucks, all the maintenance. This would actually handle everything that UNE and Public Works does related to the assets of the city.
And Madam Mayor, one more question
Yes,
for
sir.
Jolie. Jolie, isn't it true that you, in fact, alone can pull a fire truck?
Yes, sir, I have. There's video evidence. I have pulled the City of Stuart fire truck by myself multiple times, actually.
Okay, can I be on your team?
Yeah. I have a team of ringers coming that day, don't worry.
This is
Um,
amazing.
Are there any questions at this point? I mean, it's short and quick, only because I can say that we're in really excellent condition at the moment.
Yeah, Commissioner Collins wants something.
You had mentioned that some amount of that interest-bearing accounts revenue had been used to kind of smooth things over.
That's, I've added these additional one-time requests in there. The only item in my list that is ongoing is the new position, but I believe that that is sustainable given the revenue flow of the city at the moment.
Do you have off the top of your head how much that is that's come out of that 2 million or so? 2 million in revenue from the interest-bearing, correct?
Oh, I'm just recognizing additional. I expect to collect more before the end of the year. I'm only saying at the mid-year point, I'm willing to up my revenue budget to reflect what I've collected so far. I do expect that to come in even better before 9/30. So it could be an additional revenue source towards the end of the year. That planner position, as noted in the schedule, is 210,000, all, tax tag title out the door.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interest rates are high.
Thank you.
So this is a resolution, resolution number 40-2024
With
for the
action?
budget amendment number 9. I move approval.
Second.
We're at 10.
Oh, she said number 9, number 10. Okay. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comments, any more comments? See none, any comments from the public? Not any? Roll call?
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes. Yes. All right. Now we. 11, go ahead, Mike,
Just-
explain that informational only.
And just before we move on, I just want to say that mid-year budget that you just saw is the finance department, and in particularly Jolie's doing, and those numbers were out of the park. I mean, when you think about those, were halfway numbers, and they all look like an annual number. And you can really thank him, because he stays on it and works late every night. But those numbers should have been 50%, right? We're halfway through. Those numbers should have been looked at as half, and everybody was looking at them like they were the full year, because they look like the whole year. And so it's really a reflection on him.
Yeah, I agree.
I also do like Scotty on Star Trek. I'll tell you to take, 4 hours when it's really 2.
Anyway, the other thing is that today at 3:30, we received a request from item number 11 and 12, which we can handle together, to continue these to the 13th of May. Is that correct?
Yes,
Third-
May 13th.
Yeah, I have the letter now, to May 13th meeting. I think it's in the best interest of the board to move to set it for a time certain, so that the people that were interested in making sure that they were coming would know that it's been set, and we can relay that information rather than having it fall off. The only thing that they would have to do is mail to about 6 people, because there's not a lot of properties around it anyway. but by setting it for a date certain, staff can actually tell anybody that's inquiring the specific date. So I'd be looking for a motion on 11 that really wouldn't be necessary anyway, because it wasn't, the vote wasn't going to count because of the land use change. There's only a one-person vote, but the state law still requires the hearings, and the public wants to know.
We have one motion for both hearings?
I think really we only need it on 12, because 11 wouldn't matter if it was heard tonight anyway.
Move to continue to May 13th.
And I just want to make sure.
5:30 p.m.?
I might as well include both of them.
Okay, I'd include both agenda items.
But you said a time certain for the date?
Date
not-
certain.
not
Just
for
the date,
Not for
just
okay.
the regular meeting.
Okay.
And this was supposed to be the first reading of the ordinance for the zoning, so it was already scheduled to come back next time anyway.
Right, the
So,
13th,
it'll
we
be-
start at
Now we'll
4
be
p.m.
starting, instead
That
of
would be
being
at
the second.
5:30.
Just as a reminder on
It's not a
both,
time certain, it's a date certain.
I know, but it's okay. We have,
we have to have two readings for both of them.
Okay, well, then, we have a motion for 11 and a second? Is that what we're doing?
12.
Or just 12, okay. I
No, it's both of them.
apologize.
I included both, at the
Right.
request of the attorney, I included both items.
Okay.
and may I say this again? Because the 13th, we start at 4 p.m., and this is a land use matter, if we could, if it's going to be on the agenda starting at 4 because we have all the other things, or would it be on the agenda most likely at 5:30?
It must take place after 5 o'clock by state statute, but
That's why I wanted to
being
be
short on
sure
time
that-
has never been a problem for us.
That's right, I understand. I just want people to know that, because we start at 4 p.m. on that day.
No, this will be advertised for after 5 PM. And if we were by chance to finish before 5, we would actually wait for the agenda items to take place after 5.
Let me run
Okay.
this by Mary, that it's combined. A motion, we have a second.
Who was the second, may I ask?
I did.
Clark,
Commissioner Clark, thank you.
at May 13th. Okay? Got that?
Yes.
Any more comments? Any comments from the public? I see none. Roll call.
Commissioner McDonald?
Yes.
Mayor Brunner?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes,
Commissioner Collins?
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
thank you.